Hi, I'd like to go through the global IT disruption that happened today due to the Crowdstrike Falcon sensor incompatibility with Windows and why it was so impactful that the hospitals were taken out, airplanes could not work, airlines, airports were taken out, 911 responders in some regions didn't work, etc. So let's talk about what happened. So in the enterprise setting, Crowdstrike is one of the popular security tools, often installed on Windows machines. But as you all know, some of us use Mac. There are Linux, Unix servers, there are mobile devices. So why was it so impactful? The problem is that when you're using your device in the enterprise, even if it is a Mac, and say you access some applications, they all in the enterprise need to know who you are, and that you are who you are and which permissions you have and so on. And for that, they use enterprise technology called Microsoft Active Directory. And so Microsoft Active Directory is a directory. It's based on Windows servers, and these Windows servers called domain controllers. So they're Windows. And they have the shared distributed database of all the identities of people and their permissions and so on. And so when your applications on your devices, you need to authenticate, you need to know, applications need to know who you are. They should not work directly with each other. They authenticate with that Active Directory and they get all the information on users and their permissions from that Active Directory. And so when Crowdstrike update, unfortunately, started taking those Windows boxes out, that means that the directory could no longer work because the servers didn't work that hosted that directory. And so basically that enterprise database of all the identities disappeared and everything else stopped. So that's one of the main reasons why it was so impactful. And so I'd like to explain how Cayosoft customers, luckily, were in a much better spot. So one of the popular Cayosoft products is Cayosoft Guardian. It's being used for threat detection and response and monitoring and recovery of Microsoft systems such as Microsoft Active Directory, Entra ID, Teams, Intune, and so on. But let's talk about specifically Active Directory. So you have your Active Directory, again, your domain controllers with Windows and a database. And so what Cayosoft Guardian does is that every night or whatever your schedule is, it takes that Active Directory piece without the operating system. It doesn't touch the Windows or whatever agents might be there, like CrowdStrike or anything else. It just takes the Active Directory piece, just a database, and it creates in another environment, isolated environment, typically in your cloud, like your Microsoft Azure or Amazon AWS. It recreates that directory. Again, not taking the operating system, just the Active Directory piece, and installing there on fresh standard machines. And so it then, as I mentioned, it does threat detection and etc. to make sure that there's no ransomware in your environment, but also does the full functional test and making sure that this replica, that standby Active Directory, is fully functional. And so after it's done with all the tests, it just puts them all on pause so you don't spend money on your cloud infrastructure, not don't spend additional money. But it is fully tested and fully functional, just on pause. And so what Cayosoft Guardian first recovery customers could do when the CrowdStrike update happened and their domain controllers went down and their primary Active Directory disappeared, what they could do is they could just unpause that test environment in the cloud. As I mentioned, it's fully functional, has been tested, and then update their network settings so that their devices and their applications started using that standby replica of the Active Directory, which is an exact replica. So from their perspective, it is their directory. Our customers didn't need to update anything on the device or applications. They just had to redirect the traffic and then pause the standby environment. And that's how they got back to normal. Well, semi-normal, at least got their directory back quickly within minutes. All they had to do was unpause their environment and redirect the traffic. Anyway, so that's the quick summary of what happened. Stay safe. Make sure that all your critical systems are fully resilient, that for all of them you have your resiliency plans, you have your backup and recovery systems. They are fully daily tested and operational and ready should any outage, ransomware attack, or technical outage happen. Thank you.